My name is Stephen Anderson, and I'm a professor at the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education at the University of Toronto, and I'm a professor of educational administration, though I also teach in our teacher education program, the beginning teacher program. And when I think about the importance of education today, what I really would like to emphasize is what I believe is the importance of public education, K-12, but not only in Canada, but around the world. And I emphasize that because there are pressures afoot and movements around the world to privatize education, and I think that the evidence that I'm aware of and through the research that I do suggests that this is not the way to go. It's not the way to go. It's the way to increase inequities in access to education around the world where this has been happening in large measure. And I firmly believe in the common good and the value of public education. And I think here in the province of Ontario, we're one of the exemplars in the world right now that shows that in fact public education can work, and it can work on a systemic basis for all students and not just for the select students who can afford to go to private schools and get that kind of education. But regardless, when we think about education, we got to think about, what can we do to sustain and improve the quality of education. And we know from our research that that certainly a lot of the outcomes of education are partly dependent upon the family situations that kids come from. However, we also know from our studies and comparisons of more and less effective schools that there is a value-added effect of schools. And that's the area that most of my work focuses on. And in that in-school or value-added effective schools, we know that teachers are the most significant influence on children's learning and outcomes, and that principals come a close second. And so my work has sort of spanned both of those, improvement in teaching quality, but then how can school administrations at the school level or at the district level support that improvement in teaching quality. Because we know if teachers on their own individually and isolated from one another are not going to get better. Teachers working together on professional matters is important, but that won't happen unless those that are responsible for and in the position to enable that kind of work, joint work together, collaborative learning of teachers, don't do their role in creating those enabling conditions to allow that to happen. So then we come to leadership, and that's where a lot of my work has been focused, is on what can principals as school leaders and what can people at the intermediary level or the school district level do to facilitate both improvement in leadership and improvement in teaching practice at the school levels. This is an issue internationally, not just in Ontario or in North America, and particularly, again, I'll emphasize, because of the forces at work that are pushing towards more privatized education provision around the world and less emphasis on public education or less faith in public education. Issues of leadership are profound. I'm currently doing work in the country of Chile and have been for 2 or 3 years with an organization, a foundation that is emphasizing improving the quality of leadership, but with a focus on how that facilitates improving quality of instruction as well. It's not simply here in North America that we're concerned about these things. When I think about where's my work perhaps different or special, obviously I'm not alone in that, but there are people around the world that are working on what I'll call the system improvement. System improvement at different levels. There are those, as some of my colleagues, who are working at system improvement at the national or state or provincial level. My focus has been at system improvement at the level of the intermediary organizations, the school districts or school boards as we know them, because they're ones who are in a particularly advantageous position to work with large numbers of schools in order to facilitate, motivate, and support improvement. But it's the support systems for improvement that I think are vital, and not thinking about how can each school improve on its own, how can each teacher improve on their own, or how can each principal improve on their own. We need to be thinking about people working together and the support systems that are there to enable that to happen.